Am I the asshole for giving my MIL the wrong address so she could no longer send her granddaughter gifts? I, 42 male, have been married to my wife, 39 female, for 15 years. We have a wonderful 14-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. My wife's mother has some views that I don't agree with. 2 years ago, for our daughter's 12th birthday, she sent her a book about crash dieting that promised something like 10 pounds of weight loss in 3 days. Our daughter was devastated because the underlying message was clear as day. It was a month until she started eating a whole plate of food for dinner again. Our daughter is a healthy girl. She is highly active, studious, and most importantly, happy. Her grandmother believes that she's not reaching her full potential, whatever that means, and thinks that she'll be on the front covers of magazines if she can just shed some weight. Since she made these views clear to me, I have made it my mission to block any unsupervised contact, and this includes gifts. About a month ago, with my daughter's upcoming 14th birthday, Grandma texted me asking for our new address. Normally she would ask my wife, but since she didn't answer within 10 minutes, she texted me instead. My wife would have given her our real address, but I was able to respond first with a fake one and tell my wife no response was necessary. I couldn't guarantee that I'd be home to intercept any gifts, and my daughter would open something addressed to her. It gave her some numbers, a street somewhere that I wasn't even sure existed. A couple of weeks later, after my daughter's birthday, I realized that it did not in fact exist as her package was returned to her. Both she and my wife were furious, and my wife amended the address I gave her before. Grandma insisted it was a completely innocent package. Well, the day it was scheduled for delivery, I decided to work from home. When it arrived, I opened it up and found a baton twirling uniform, my daughter's hobby. Sound innocent enough? It was at least 2 sizes too small. I sat my wife down with the stupid thing in front of us and said it was clearly intentional, which my wife refuses to acknowledge. Now she and her mother are even madder at me for throwing the uniform into the neighbor's garbage, with the neighbor's permission. Did I handle this correctly? Not the asshole. You don't have a MIL problem. You have a wife problem. It's time for you and your wife to have an honest discussion about how she views your daughter's weight. Well, also a MIL problem though. If wife was a decent parent, MIL wouldn't be a problem. Your wife, mom, should acknowledge that her mother has issues with her granddaughter's weight. Whether she's overweight or not doesn't matter, it's none of her business. So, I applaud you standing up for and protecting your daughter. For that, you are not the asshole. While people are quick to say you are, as you didn't communicate with your wife, given that she refuses to see an issue with her mother doing this, I disagree with Reddit, and you are not the asshole there, as well. Bravo to you for prioritizing your daughter. She needs someone in her corner, for sure. That being said, I would make an appointment for couples counseling, and talk to the counselor specifically about this issue, how your wife doesn't have concerns with it. You two do need to communicate, and get on the same page. Your MIL needs to stop bullying and body shaming your daughter, who sounds like a normal, healthy child. MIL can go pound sand. I would go as far as to talk to your daughter. Does she even want to see MIL? Otherwise, go low, no contact. Perfect response. Dad was doing the right thing of protecting daughter from grandma's landmine gifts. Having had a grandmother who would send stuff like that to me when I was a teen, I know how devastating it is to get garbage like that. Original poster, not the asshole. And these folks don't get any better. A month before she died at 98, my mother's Christmas present to me was the condo book on tidiness. I was 68, a lawyer and church organist, and just diagnosed as autistic. Not the asshole. Your wife is disrespecting your values as the other parent, and your daughter's mental well-being, in order to enable her mother's incredibly disgusting behavior. You've already experienced the damage it did previously. Your wife is being irresponsible by allowing it to happen again. She needs her eyes open to the harm she's opening her daughter to. This is where I'm at. Wife is clearly not seeing how serious this is. I would love for parents to sit down, talk it out, and for her to realize this. But, or she agrees her mom and struggles her own body image issues and is okay projecting onto her own daughter. I wonder how the wife reacted the first time around. Not the asshole. Mom and granny seem determined to psychologically damage your daughter, in spite of your best efforts to be a responsible parent. Maybe you need to have a serious discussion with your daughter about how to ignore ignorant and hurtful people. Yup, this right here. Does wife tend to be as shallow as grandma? What was wife reaction when daughter received that horrendous book and didn't eat properly for a whole month? Original poster, not the asshole, and you appear to be a very good father. I would be scared that if your wife isn't backing you up on this, is she also telling your daughter these things when you're not there? Question mark. I completely agree. Nearly every person I know that has an unhealthy relationship with food and dieting learned it from their family. Not the asshole. Your mill is trying to get your daughter to have an eating disorder. You need to protect her from that, however. The way you went about it was wrong. It was always only going to work once. What you need is something that is the equivalent of a post office box or a parcel locker that you can give your mill. Might be a bit late now though. That way you can be sure to intercept any presents and vet them for safety. Shouldn't be too late. Original poster can still get a P.O. box and just forward any mail with daughter's name to the box. That way Granny can still think she's sending these gifts and Dad can fully get them before giving it to daughter. Not the asshole, you handled it perfectly right down to checking with the neighbors about using their trash. Well done, sir. Not the asshole. Your mill is actively trying to hurt your daughter and you are trying to protect her from developing an eating disorder or other mental health issues. As a woman, this kind of garbage was forced on me and all my friends, and I wish we had a dad like you looking out for us. I have a feeling the mill did this to her own daughter. It's why the mom refused to acknowledge this. Something's up. Gonna have to talk to wife why and thank you for protecting your kid. Not the asshole, she's weight shaming your daughter on purpose and your wife is encouraging it. Be an adult and tell her these gifts are not welcome, and until she realizes her viewpoint is unhealthy and will not be tolerated, she's not allowed to buy gifts or see the kids. Oof dude. I want to scream not the asshole since you're looking out for your daughter, but the way you went about this is a lil shady. I'll stick to that judgment, but please do communicate more with your wife. If she doesn't accept your point, start to document your mill's weird behavior. Not the asshole, you're doing your best to protect your daughter from an aggressive and abusive grandma. I don't have a good solution. I suppose you can ask your wife how she'd feel if you bought her clothes too small to fit her. As for how she'd like it if all your contact was insisting she was unhealthy. I don't know if you can get through to her. The only other option is to talk to your daughter, reassure her, and try to build her up against mom and grandma. Tell that sometimes people do mean and nasty things. Tell her that if she's happy, then that is what matters more than someone else's opinion. That other person doesn't have to live her life, she does. I like the idea of buying wife clothes 2 sizes too small. Do it forever. Not the asshole, of course. Is your wife and her family Asian? I ask this because my Asian family does this shit to me all the time. This obsession with size is awful. You need to talk to your daughter. Then your daughter, you and your wife need to have a conversation about how these gifts affects your daughter's self-esteem, self-image and confidence. If your wife doesn't understand it from her child's perspective, then I'm sorry, but she is not a good mother. From the fat child of a fat-phobic mother edit, I'm not saying fatphobia is exclusive to Asians. I'm just saying I'm Asian and I get treated like shit by my whole family for being over 200 pounds and under 5 feet 5 inches. This just triggered me, but fatphobia and fat shaming are not Asian exclusive. Not Asian. White from the USA. My white grandma does this. Assholes seem to exist across the ancestry spectrum. Mine did too. Guess what? Restricting my food just made me sneak it and still be fat. Good job giving 2 generations disordered eating. Not the asshole. You are trying to protect your daughter from an abusive grandma who sounds like she's doing everything in her power to give your daughter an eating disorder. It sounds like your wife is in denial about the situation or, even worse, condones your MIL's behavior. That said, you and your wife definitely need to work on your communication. Couples counseling may be something to look into. Not the asshole, sir, you are a hero for protecting your daughter like this. Not the asshole. A hero and a badass. I was once a teenage girl, and I applaud you. Not the asshole, you need to keep having this conversation with your wife every time Grandma talks about your daughter's appearance, weight, looks and her own special dreams for your child. She was raised by this witch, so it might take a while for it to sink in how abusive this is. Original poster is the hero here.